There is nothing like a glowing review from Dave Brubeck to boost your confidence. In 2011, members of Pakistan's Sachal ensemble went viral with their interpretation of Take 5, Paul Desmond's jazz standard that was popularized by the Dave Brubeck Quartet in 1959. It would go on to receive millions of views on YouTube. Among the viewers was Brubeck himself, who would pass away at the age of 91 just over a year after the video was released. Brubeck sent a letter to Izzat Majid, the founder of Sachal Studios, who had convinced wary Pakistani classical musicians to try their hand at jazz. He sent this lovely letter in which he said, "This is one of the most interesting and different versions of Take 5 that I've ever heard," says Noor Fatima, CEO of Sachal Studios and Majid's wife, in a phone interview from her home in Lahore, Pakistan. It gave them the confidence to pursue this music more. Because, in the beginning, they were very iffy about it. They weren't sure if there was a stage for this music or a market for this music or even an ear for this music from where we come from. They were right because it was such a new genre. They just wanted to do pure classical music at Sachal Studios. We had already done 200 songs by then, which is when Izzat said, "Look, let's do something new." But yes, they were very iffy about it at the beginning. 8 members from the Sachal Studios, plus Majid and Fatima, will make their way to Calgary for a performance at the Jack Singer Concert Hall on November 7th. While the group's profile has been on the rise for years in North America, this is the ensemble's first performance in Canada. Part of the growing renown came from the 2015 documentary, Song of Lahore, which followed the Sachal players as they made their way to New York's Lincoln Center at the behest of world-famous trumpeter Wynton Marsalis, who had heard the ensemble's jazz interpretations. It was very tension-ridden, initially, Fatima says. The first time our musicians got together with Wynton, they didn't know what Wynton was expecting of them. The first rehearsal was very stressful. But that night Izzat sat them down and he said, "Don't be overawed. Wynton Marsalis and his group are amazing, they are wonderful musicians. But please remember you are all masters of your own instrument." He spent half the night building up their confidence because they were so dejected. The next day, everybody got into the flow of it. The soundtrack to the documentary found the Sachal ensemble collaborating with a wide variety of American musicians, including My Morning Jacket singer Jim James, Wilcox Nils Klein, Derek Trucks and Sean Lennon. But it was jazz that first turned Majid onto Western music. He discovered it as an 8-year-old living in Lahore in 1958, when the U.S. government sent so-called jazz ambassadors throughout the world to spread the gospel. Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, Dave Brubeck, they all came through Pakistan around that time, Fatima says. Izzat even has pictures from then. After that, he would go to the American Library here in Lahore when he was a teenager and withdraw all sorts of music from there. He would get all the jazz he could find. He grew up on it. It was love at first sound. Now, the Sachal ensemble has a formidable repertoire that includes traditional Pakistani folk songs as well as covers of songs popularized by Duke Ellington, Henry Mancini, Brubeck, and other jazz greats. As for the ensemble's popularity at home, Fatima says it continues to grow as more locals become interested in jazz and restrictions on music have eased. The documentary chronicled the political climate in Pakistan circa the mid to late 1970s when the arrival of conservative Islamic law made playing anything but religious music more than a little precarious. But times have changed. The time of that was the mid-70s to the mid-80s, Fatima says. Some of our musicians weren't even born then. 2 or 3 of our musicians are old enough to remember that time. But that era was over a very long time ago. Pakistanis love music. We have no danger anymore. The Sachal ensemble plays the Jack Singer Concert Hall on November 7th. Visit artscommons.ca.